Friends are supposed to lift you up, not bury you behind your back. In this compilation, trust is broken, alliances shatter, and the people closest to you turn out to be your biggest threats. Welcome to When Friends Become Enemies. You'll never look at your group chat the same again.
They say curiosity killed the cat. But in this case, curiosity killed someone's entire social life. Because the moment I opened that dusty, leather-bound journal sitting in her bedroom, the journal I was never supposed to see, everything changed. Everything snapped into focus. The lies, the fake smiles, the little comments that never sat right. For years, I thought she was my best friend, my sister in everything but blood, until her words, her real words, spilled across those pages like venom. And once I saw the truth, there was no unseeing it, no forgiving it, no going back. I wasn't supposed to be in her room that day. I didn't go looking for secrets. Funny thing about betrayal, though. It has a way of finding you. I was house-sitting. She trusted me like a fool trusts a lock that doesn't click. And me, I wasn't snooping, at least not at first. But when I bumped that nightstand and that journal slid halfway out, like it wanted to be read, I hesitated for exactly 2 seconds. 2. Then I opened it and realized the person I thought I knew, the friend I would have defended with my last breath, was nothing but a mask. She hated me. She hated everyone. And the worst part, she wrote it all down. Every ugly thought, every dirty secret, every lie, in her own handwriting. Signed, dated, filed neatly for me to find. Curiosity may have killed the cat. But this journal was about to kill her entire little world. Quietly, perfectly, without me saying a word. My name's Jordan. I'm 27, work in marketing, and I've always been what people call the reliable one. The one who shows up early. The one who remembers your birthday without Facebook reminders. The one who will drop everything, even if I'm drowning, just to keep someone else afloat. And the person I've done that for more than anyone else? Her. Samantha. We met in high school. Freshman year. We were both in the same honors English class. Her with the sarcasm and confidence, me with the color-coded binders and nervous energy. She picked me. Out of everyone, she picked me. And that felt like winning something I didn't even know I wanted. She was magnetic. The kind of girl who made other people lean in when she spoke. I wasn't like that. I was the background friend. Supportive. Quiet. Grateful just to be chosen. And for a while, we were inseparable. Same classes. Same lunch table. Same inside jokes that made everyone else roll their eyes. By the time we were adults, people called us soul sisters. She was even listed as my emergency contact. Something I didn't think twice about. Because when someone's been in your life that long, when you've laughed and cried and healed each other's heartbreaks for years, you believe it's real. You believe it's mutual. You believe they have your back, just like you've had theirs 100 times over. But Samantha? She didn't have my back. She had a pen, and a journal, and a habit of writing down everything she couldn't say to my face. So yeah, finding that journal, it broke something in me. Because it wasn't just secrets. It wasn't just gossip. It was a blueprint. Page after page of twisted thoughts, snide comments, little betrayals I never saw coming. Stuff about me. Stuff about everyone we knew. And worst of all, it wasn't written in anger. It was casual. Like she was just documenting reality. Her version of it, anyway. I used to think Samantha was my mirror. That we reflected each other. Turns out, she was a mask. And it was finally slipping. Looking back, I hate how perfect it felt. How real it felt. How safe. Samantha wasn't just my best friend. She was my second home. We were the kind of friends people low-key envied. The inside jokes no one else understood. The matching tattoos after a spontaneous road trip to Nashville. Movie marathons where we'd quote every line like annoying sisters. Girls' weekends with just the two of us. Greasy takeout, cheap wine, and hours spent talking about absolutely everything. It wasn't complicated. It wasn't fake. At least, not to me. When I got my first real marketing job, Samantha was the first person I called. When my ex dumped me out of nowhere, Samantha showed up at my door with ice cream and a bat, swearing revenge I didn't even ask for. When she got promoted at her job, we celebrated like we both won. We were in each other's families' photos, each other's emergency contacts. The kind of friendship people don't question. Until they should. I trusted Samantha with everything. My insecurities, my dreams, my mess. She saw me ugly cry on the bathroom floor. She saw me dance like a lunatic in the kitchen at 2 a.m. She knew every heartbreak, every mistake, every secret, or at least. I thought that went both ways. Until I started noticing tiny things. Little slips. Snarky comments that felt a little too sharp. Jokes at my expense that lingered longer than they should have. Stories from our other friends that didn't quite match what Samantha told me. But I brushed it off. Because that's what I did. That's what good friends do. They give grace. They give the benefit of the doubt. They don't assume the worst. And me, I never assumed the worst about Samantha. Until I opened that journal. And realized. She'd been assuming the worst about me for years. Documenting it. Cataloging it. Making me the punchline of her private little story. While smiling in my face like we were still 12 years old sharing secrets on the school bus. But Samantha forgot one thing about keeping receipts. Eventually, someone's gonna read them. Funny thing about loyalty? It makes you blind. It makes you excuse things other people would have walked away from immediately. And that's exactly what Samantha counted on. That I wouldn't question her. Wouldn't notice. Wouldn't believe my own gut. But looking back now, the signs were everywhere. It started small. Little digs she disguised as jokes. If I was excited about something, Samantha had a way of making it sound small. Oh, you got that promotion? Ugh, they must have been really desperate. I laughed. At first. Because that's what we did. Roast each other. But after a while, it stopped feeling playful. It started feeling pointed. Mean. Calculated. Then there was how she acted around our mutual friends. She'd tell me things like, "Girl, Jenna's been saying some wild stuff about you." Or, if I wasn't around, they'd probably leave you out of everything. Samantha always framed herself like my protector. Like I was this helpless little charity case she had to drag along socially. But guess what? Those friends she claimed were fake? They never made me feel less than. She did. Every single time. The real tipping point? My birthday. Samantha planned it. Insisted on handling everything. She told me everyone was busy or broke. So it would just be the two of us. Fine. Except 2 days later, I saw photos all over Instagram. Our entire friend group. Together. Laughing. Celebrating Rachel's random Tuesday night dinner. While I sat home eating takeout with Samantha, like the pathetic little sidekick she clearly thought I was. That was the first real crack. The first night I wondered, is she even my friend? But the thing about patterns? Once you see them, you can't unsee them. The fake concern. The backhanded compliments. The way she needed me to feel small so she could feel important. But I didn't have proof. Not yet. Until that journal found me. Until every nasty thought I was never supposed to read sat there. In her perfect little handwriting. Waiting. Ready. And if she thought I'd just cry and walk away, she didn't know me at all. Because I wasn't mad. I wasn't heartbroken. I was patient. And patience is deadly. I didn't mean to find her journal. That's the craziest part. I wasn't snooping. I wasn't digging for dirt. I was house-sitting. Doing Samantha a favor. Because of course I was. Because that's who I was. The reliable friend. The helper. The one people counted on without hesitation. She had gone on a weekend getaway. Self-care trip with her coworkers. Some spa retreat 2 hours away. I was feeding her cat. Watering her plants. Being the same ride-or-die friend I had always been. Until that nightstand drawer didn't close all the way. Until that little leather journal poked its corner out like it wanted to say, "Hey Jordan, you ready to see how she really feels about you?" It sat there like a challenge. For exactly 2 seconds I fought it. But something in me, call it instinct, call it that gut feeling that never lies, told me this wasn't an accident. This was meant for me to find. So I opened it. And what I found, it wasn't just gossip. It wasn't venting. It was war. Page after page after page. Every single thing I'd ever confided in Samantha, weaponized, twisted, mocked. She wrote about me like I was a charity case. Like I was her sad little project. Things like, Jordan has no idea how pathetic she sounds when she talks about her job like it's impressive. Marketing for a furniture store isn't exactly changing the world. Or, I swear, sometimes I wonder if she's just keeping me around because she has no one else. There were entries about my outfits, my relationships, my childhood trauma, things I told her in moments of raw trust, written like punchlines. And it wasn't just me. It was everyone. Rachel, Jenna, Alexis. She trashed them all. Her so-called besties. Her entire social circle? She didn't love them. She tolerated them, mocked them, used them. We were just characters in the Little Mean Girls reboot running in her head. That's when it hit me. This wasn't a friend. This was a villain pretending to be a friend. And villains? They always write their own downfall. Samantha just wrote hers in leather-bound hardcover. And now, I was going to read every single page, and I was going to burn her entire social life down. Quietly, perfectly, without ever raising my voice. Here's the thing about someone like Samantha. She didn't just write those things to vent. She wrote them because she believed nobody would ever see them. Nobody would ever challenge her. Nobody would ever leave her. Because Samantha had spent years building this little kingdom, where she was queen, and the rest of us were disposable peasants. Her journal didn't just talk about me. It laid out every single toxic thing she'd ever done to our entire friend group. How she purposely told Jenna that Alexis was talking behind her back, just to stir the pot. How she accidentally left Rachel off the group chat for last year's Christmas brunch. Because Rachel was getting too much attention lately. Even little things. Like how she lied to Alexis about me being jealous of her new job, so that Alexis wouldn't invite me to their after-work hangouts. All of us being played against each other like chess pieces. And the worst part, it worked. We all doubted each other. We all questioned ourselves. All while Samantha sat in the middle, sipping wine, collecting drama like trophies. But not anymore. Now I knew. And once you know the truth, silence is the deadliest weapon you've got. I didn't confront her. Not immediately. That would have been sloppy. Too easy. Samantha expected drama. Expected me to cry. Expected me to beg. No. She was about to learn what real patience looks like. Real revenge. Clean. Quiet. Permanent. Step 1. Screenshot every journal page. Scan every entry. Because I wasn't just going to burn her privately. Oh no. She loved an audience. She craved attention. So when her downfall came, it would happen center stage. In front of every person she lied to. Every friend she manipulated. Every fake story she spun. But the beauty of it all, I didn't have to tell a single lie. Didn't have to invent a single word. Samantha already told the whole story. In her own handwriting. Every single ugly, petty, vicious thought. All I had to do, let people read it for themselves. Truth is the loudest sound in the world. When it hits the right ears. Most people think betrayal feels like getting punched in the stomach. Like rage. Like heartbreak. But for me, it felt quiet. Sharp. Cold. Like someone flipped a switch inside me. I didn't cry. Didn't scream. Didn't text Samantha some dramatic message. No. I closed that journal carefully. Put it right back where I found it. And walked out of her apartment feeling calmer than I had in weeks. Because now, I wasn't confused. I wasn't sad. I wasn't wondering if I was overthinking things. Samantha showed me exactly who she was. And it was time to show her exactly who I was. First thing I did? Group chat audit. See, Samantha loved to play puppet master. But what she didn't realize, people notice when things feel off. I started reaching out to Jenna, to Alexis, even Rachel, who I hadn't talked to much since my birthday incident. Little by little, I planted seeds. Casual texts, check-ins, nonchalant comments like, "Hey, has Samantha ever said anything weird about me to you? I've just been feeling kinda off about some stuff lately." And just like that, the floodgates opened. Turns out, every single one of them had their own Samantha story. Their own Samantha betrayal. Times she lit. Times she twisted stories. Times she drove wedges between us all for her own entertainment. And just like me, none of them had wanted to believe it. Until now. Until I had proof. Second thing I did, set the trap. Samantha was coming back from her little spa getaway that Sunday night. And I was supposed to meet her for dinner on Tuesday. Her idea, of course. One of those just us, girl time, things she always set up when she wanted to snoop about what was going on in my life. But this time, the guest list was about to get a lot bigger. Because Tuesday wasn't just dinner. Tuesday was going to be the night every single one of us sat down together. Without Samantha knowing why. Until it was too late. Until her entire kingdom of lies crumbled right in front of her. Without me yelling. Without me crying. Without me saying a single word more than necessary. Just me. Her friends. And the truth. You know what happens when you stop reacting? When you stop explaining yourself? Stop defending? You become untouchable. That's what I felt in the days leading up to Tuesday. Untouchable. While Samantha was texting me like everything was fine. "Miss you, babe. Tuesday night okay? Ugh, I have so much to tell you about this spa trip LOL. I wasn't mad. Not even a little. I was focused. Because the more normal she acted, the harder she was about to crash. I spent Monday gathering what I needed. Not gossip. Not drama. Proof. Screenshots of her journal pages. Carefully selected for maximum impact. Receipts of every lie she told about every girl at that table. From calling Jenna desperate for male attention, to saying Alexis was too stupid to notice her boyfriend flirting with other girls, to trashing Rachel's wedding plans like she wasn't going to be her maid of honor. Ugly things. Mean things. Things even I was shocked to read, knowing how fake Samantha could be. But that was the beauty of it. No opinions. No accusations. Just her words. In her handwriting. Ready to speak for themselves. Tuesday night was set. I told Jenna, Rachel, and Alexis exactly when and where to meet me. Didn't over-explain. Didn't sugarcoat. You need to see this. That was all I said. And guess what? They showed up early. Every single one of them. Which told me everything I needed to know. Samantha didn't have loyalty. She had leverage. But leverage only works until someone lets go. And me. I wasn't holding on to anything anymore. I sat at that table. Calm. Peaceful. While Samantha texted. OMG, I'm parking now. Can't wait to catch up. Oh, we were going to catch up, all right. But not the way she thought. No wine night. No fake laughs. Just the truth. And once it hit the table, there wouldn't be enough fake charm in the world to save her. Because silence, that's the sound of power shifting. And Samantha was about to lose everything. When Samantha walked into that restaurant Tuesday night, she had no idea she was walking straight into her own funeral. Socially, at least. She came in loud, laughing, all bright energy and fake affection. OMG, look at all my girls together. This feels like old times. The irony nearly made me laugh. Old times? Old times were dead, buried, and she was the one holding the shovel. Her face shifted. Just for a second. When she realized it wasn't just me sitting there. Jenna, Rachel, Alexis, all at one table. All silent. That little flash of suspicion behind her eyes? Gone in an instant. Fake smile back in place. But it was too late. She sat down anyway. Because Samantha always thought she was smarter than the room. Always thought she could talk her way out of anything. I let her talk. Babble. Ramble. Told us all about her amazing weekend spa trip. Every fake, bubbly story landing like a dull thud in the silence. Nobody laughed. Nobody nodded. Just four women staring at the real Samantha. And when the waitress came by to take our drink orders, I pulled out my phone, laid it flat on the table, opened the folder labeled Samantha's journal, and turned it so everyone else could see. No words. No speech. No accusations. Just one line. You all should read this. That's it. That's all it took. The shift in that room. Immediate. Jenna grabbed the phone first. Then Rachel. Then Alexis. Flipping through screenshots of Samantha's own words. Their faces went from confused to horrified to furious. They read about how Samantha called Rachel's fiancé boring. How she said Jenna was a pick-me girl who needs male validation like air. How she mocked Alexis's anxiety behind her back while playing therapist to her face. Every petty, disgusting thing Samantha ever thought was safely locked in that journal was now being read like scripture at her own execution. And me, I just sat there, calm, watching Samantha realize. Slowly. That nobody was laughing. Nobody was defending her. Nobody was coming to save her. Because the beauty of truth? It doesn't need volume. It just needs witnesses. Silence. That's what I remember most about that moment. Complete, heavy silence. Not because nobody had anything to say, but because everyone at that table was processing what they were reading. And Samantha? Samantha was watching her entire world cave in around her. In real time. Without me saying a single word. Wait. Rachel finally whispered, staring down at my phone. She said that about me? Jenna shook her head slowly, still scrolling. She told me I was like a sister to her. Alexis? She didn't say anything. She just looked up. Straight at Samantha. And that look, that was colder than anything I could have ever planned. The look of a woman who realized she'd been pouring her heart out to someone who thought she was pathetic. Samantha's voice finally broke the silence. Shaky. Jordan. Where did you get that? I met her eyes for the first time that night. Calm. Flat. Your nightstand. You should really get a drawer that closes properly. The blood drained from her face. Because in all her scheming, in all her years of running her mouth behind closed doors, she forgot the simplest rule of all. If you write it down, it can be read. And now, Everyone was reading. She tried to backpedal. Of course she did. You guys. It was just venting. I didn't mean any of that. We all say stuff we don't mean when we're upset. No one flinched. No one nodded. No one saved her. Because this wasn't a heat-of-the-moment text message. This wasn't gossip. This was a journal. Page after page of clear, intentional ugly thoughts. Her words. Her pen. Her downfall. Rachel stood up first. Didn't even look at Samantha. I'm done. Alexis followed. Quiet. Steady. Jenna was last. She stared at Samantha like she didn't even recognize her. You really fooled us, huh? Then they were gone. One by one. Leaving Samantha sitting there. Alone. Staring at a version of herself even she couldn't spin. And me. I didn't need to say a thing. She knew. Every fake friend she ever manipulated? Gone. Every lie. Dead. Every secret? Exposed. Funny thing about people like Samantha? They spend so long building fake worlds. They never expect to live alone in the real one. After that night, her world got very small. Very quiet. Exactly how I planned it. Rachel blocked her on everything before she even got home. Alexis left the group chat without a word. Jenna posted a not-so-subtle quote on her story the next day. Sometimes the trash takes itself out. Savage. But accurate. Samantha tried damage control, of course. She posted her own story the next day. Some dramatic black and white selfie with a caption like, "Cutting toxic people out of my life. Growth is painful. Sis, you didn't cut anybody. You got cut. Hard. Clean. No bandages for this one." Word got around faster than I thought it would. Turns out, when people realize you've been talking trash about everybody, it's hard to find new friends. The invites dried up. The group brunches stopped. Nobody wanted to be the next name in her journal. As for me, I didn't have to say a word. I didn't post anything shady. Didn't blast her online. Didn't send mass texts telling my side. I didn't need to. Her own words did all the work for me. Weeks passed. Then months. The last time I saw Samantha, she was sitting alone at our old favorite coffee shop. By herself. No friends. No fake laughs. Just her. Scrolling through her phone like she was waiting for a text that wasn't coming. And me. I walked right past her without even slowing down. Because closure doesn't always come from confrontation. Sometimes, closure comes from realizing you never lost a friend. You lost a fraud. And that is the best peace there is. They say curiosity killed the cat. Maybe. But in my case, curiosity didn't kill me. It killed her reputation, her friendships, her little fake kingdom of control. All because Samantha thought no one would ever read her journal. She thought no one would ever see behind the curtain. She thought I was too loyal, too trusting, too soft. But the thing about quiet people, about the ones you underestimate, we don't explode. We observe. We collect. We wait. And when we move, we end things. Not with a fight. Not with screaming. Just with facts. Proof. Truth. Her own words. Used like a mirror she couldn't look away from. Samantha lost her friends. Her social circle. Her little audience. And me. I didn't lose anything. I gained peace. Silence. Freedom. Because I didn't need revenge that was messy. Or loud. Or cruel. She wrote her own ending. All I did, turn the page. And walk away. Without saying a single word more than necessary. Because the best part about keeping receipts is letting people cash them in themselves. One ugly truth at a time. Curiosity didn't kill the cat. It killed her lies. And honestly, I sleep just fine.
My best friend stole my husband, so I made her the outcast. When she opened the last gift and pulled out the framed photo, the room went dead silent. I watched from across the table, champagne in one hand, perfectly neutral smile on my face. Sabrina froze. Her fingers trembled just slightly, like the frame had burned her. And then she looked up. Straight at me. She knew exactly what that photo was. What it meant. What I'd just done. Around us, the other bridesmaids were still mid-giggle, waiting for the punchline. Until one of them finally asked, "Wait. Isn't that Tyler?" Sabrina dropped the frame. Glass cracked against the tile floor. The laughter stopped. And I took one slow sip of my drink. Before I said, loud enough for the whole room to hear, "Surprise. It's a memory from the last wedding you ruined. My name is Jasmine Lee. And this? This is the story of how my best friend stole my husband. and how I made her the outcast at her own bridal shower. Sabrina Hart had been my best friend since sophomore year of college. We met in a women's lit class, bonded over our shared love of iced coffee, sarcasm, and avoiding group projects. She was wild where I was grounded. Loud where I was observant. The kind of girl who could walk into a room and instantly own it, and somehow, I never felt overshadowed. For years, we were inseparable. We did everything together, post-grad job hunting, Sunday brunch rituals. Even moved into a 2-bedroom apartment right after college. When I met Tyler, she was the first person I introduced him to. "He's cute," she said, with that sideways smirk. "And he smells expensive. Keep him." I laughed. Looking back now, I think that was the first little twist of the knife, and I didn't feel a thing. Sabrina became part of our routine. She'd crash our movie nights. Call Tyler for favors when I wasn't around. I told myself it was normal. I told myself it was fine. Because when your best friend and your husband get along, that's supposed to be a good thing. Right? And for a while, it was. Until the excuses started. The secrets. The stories that didn't match. Until one day, the trust started slipping like a dress 2 sizes too big. And I was the only one still trying to hold it up. The first time I noticed something was off, it was a laugh. Not mine. Sabrina's. She and Tyler were in the kitchen during one of our game nights. I was grabbing something from the bedroom, and I heard her laugh. The kind of laugh she used when she was flirting. The one she used to get free drinks. The one she never used with me. When I walked back in, they jumped apart, like teenagers caught behind the gym. I played it cool. I smiled. I asked, "What's so funny?" Tyler said, "Oh, just an inside joke." And Sabrina? She changed the subject so fast I barely had time to blink. Red flag number 1. A few weeks later, I found an Uber receipt on Tyler's phone. A ride from Sabrina's apartment. At 1:42 a.m. on a Tuesday. When I asked him about it, he didn't even flinch. She was drunk. Called me crying. I couldn't leave her like that. I wanted to believe him. But something had shifted. The way he touched me. The way he avoided eye contact when Sabrina's name came up. The way she suddenly stopped texting me as much, unless it was something public, something performative. And then, I found it. A message. Buried in his deleted folder. From her. One sentence. "Don't forget to delete this." That's it. No context. No denials. No way to unsee it. I didn't scream. I didn't confront them. Not yet. Because I knew something they didn't. I was done being the one who played fair. And they were about to learn how it feels to get caught in someone else's trap. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I made a plan. Tyler and I were already distant, emotionally, physically, in every way that matters. So I let him drift. I let him think I hadn't noticed. I played the role, quiet wife, too busy to question late meetings and silent phones. And when Sabrina announced she was engaged, I clapped the loudest. No one knew it was Tyler. Not yet. She called me crying with excitement. It happened. He proposed. I played dumb. Oh my God. Who's the lucky guy? She hesitated. It's someone you don't really know that well. I smiled into the silence. Can't wait to meet him. 2 weeks later, I was invited to the bridal shower. Hosted at her sister's house. Pink banners. Rosé towers. Gold script napkins that said from Miss to Mrs. and all her new friends, ones who didn't know I was the one she used to call soul twin. I showed up with a box. Wrapped in ivory paper. Inside was a photo. A framed picture of Sabrina. Lying in my bed. Hair messy. Wearing Tyler's hoodie. I'd found it on his old backup drive. They'd been sloppy. And now? So was I, intentionally. I waited until the last gift. Smiled sweetly as she pulled off the ribbon. And when she saw the photo. Her face went pale. And the room? The room exploded. Sabrina dropped the frame like it burned her. The glass cracked. The laughter stopped. One of the bridesmaids leaned forward, confused. Wait. Is that Tyler? Sabrina didn't answer. She just stared at me. And I didn't blink. I tilted my head. Took a sip of champagne. Surprise, I said. It's a memory from the last wedding you ruined. The silence was delicious. A couple of the guests exchanged glances. One whispered, "Is she serious?" And another one pulled up Tyler's profile on Instagram and said, "Wait. Isn't that her ex?" Sabrina stood up. "You don't understand," I raised a hand. "Oh, I understand perfectly. You took something that wasn't yours. And I let you. I wanted to see how far you'd go before choking on your own lies." I looked around the room. But don't worry. I didn't come for revenge. I came for clarity. For all of you. Her sister tried to step in. "Maybe we should all calm down," I smiled. "I am calm. I've been calm. Calm enough to sit on this secret for months. Calm enough to wrap it in pretty paper and put a bow on it." Then I turned to Sabrina. "You tried to steal my life. But you forgot something. You don't just get to steal someone's husband. And expect the world to clap for you in white lace and champagne flutes." I grabbed my purse. "So go ahead. Marry him. But now they all know who you really are." I walked out as the room erupted behind me. Someone gasped. Someone dropped their drink. And Sabrina? She just stood there. Outed? Alone. Exactly how I found myself. Right before I rebuilt my life without her in it. My name is Jasmine Lee. And this? This is how you turn betrayal into legacy.
Chapter 1, The Vote. I wasn't supposed to hear it. The voice note came through while Vanessa was in the shower, her phone buzzing on the counter, like it had something to confess. I wasn't snooping, not exactly. I was brushing my teeth. Her screen lit up, and the preview showed, "Talia Queen, so we voted, don't kill us." The message just started playing. A second later, I heard champagne fizz and three women talking over each other, like sorority sisters in a reality show confessional. "Okay, hear me out," Talia said. "We cut Grant's toast. I'm sorry, but it's too serious. It kills the vibe. Like, no offense, he sounds like a LinkedIn post." Someone snorted. "Oh my god, yes, thank you. Vanessa is the bride. This is her platform. We're not here for groomsplaining. Let her shine." And then Harper, breathy and smug. "The live stream is gonna eat. We can't risk awkward energy mid-scroll. We want followers, not sympathy comments." My heart thudded once, hard, then the kicker. "So we voted," Talia announced. "Montage only. We'll play the bridal moments on loop. Vanessa gets her TikTok moment. And Grant can say whatever he wants at the brunch." Laughter. Ice clinked against glass. Then finally, Vanessa's voice. "You guys are the worst. But not angry, not embarrassed, not offended." She said it like it was charming. Like she was flattered by their scheming. She didn't say, "That's too far." She didn't say, "He deserves his place." She didn't say anything at all. I paused the audio, set her phone down gently, and leaned against the sink. The taste of mint toothpaste had curdled in my mouth. Vanessa stepped out a few minutes later, fresh-faced, towel-wrapped, humming something soft and stupid. She kissed my cheek, and asked if I wanted to help pick out cake topper fonts. I nodded. Smiled like nothing cracked. Didn't ask about the vote. Didn't bring up the montage. Didn't mention that I'd just been edited out of my own wedding, in real time. Because I finally saw it. This wasn't our day anymore. It was their production. A wedding optimized for the algorithm. I was just the placeholder groom. But if they were planning a live stream, I hoped they'd get it trending. Because I had just decided what the world would see. And it wasn't going to be filtered. Chapter 2, The Dress Code. It started with a spreadsheet. Talia sent it out 3 weeks before the wedding, like she was managing an influencer brand launch. Subject line: "Wedding visuals, please stick to the vibe." Attached was a Google Sheet with 5 color-coded tabs and a bit.ly link to approved pose inspiration. I opened it out of obligation. That was my first mistake. The tabs were labeled palette and lighting, photo blocking, live stream flow, do not post until reviewed, and my personal favorite, groom adjustments. That last one was password protected. Vanessa walked by as I scrolled. "Don't worry about that," she said lightly. It's just logistics stuff. You know how Talia is. Yeah, I did. The spreadsheet dictated what shades the groomsmen could wear, down to sock color, and warned against anything that might create visual friction against the champagne tones of the bridal party. Even my shoes were flagged for being a bit traditional. There was a section called Preferred Groom Vibe, Low Impact Elegance. I didn't even know what that meant. I just knew I wasn't the star of this show. I was a backdrop. At the rehearsal dinner, the photographer pulled me aside and asked if I could stand slightly farther from Vanessa in group shots. Just for spacing, he said. Just for symmetry. It happened again the next day, a candid, where Talia physically stepped between us and threw up a peace sign. Sorry, reflex. She chirped. We just look so good together in golden hour. Vanessa laughed, not awkwardly, not apologetically, just amused. Later that night, I asked her, carefully, how important the live stream really was. She didn't even look up from her phone. Talia's handling it. Honestly, I didn't even know she scheduled countdown posts. I just want people to feel included. Included like the entire internet? She laughed. You sound weirdly nervous. It's just content. You know we're gonna have fun. Right, fun, but the problem was, I wasn't having fun. I was watching myself get cropped out, digitally, physically, emotionally. They didn't want a groom. They wanted a co-star they could mute. And they thought I was too polite to push back. They were right, sort of. Because I wasn't going to push. I was going to pull something off instead. Chapter 3. The warning. Miles wasn't supposed to be there. He was Vanessa's cousin's +1, a UX engineer from Denver who showed up at the joint bridal party brunch wearing a button-down so wrinkled it looked like he'd packed it in a lunch bag. No one paid him any attention, which is probably why he noticed everything. I caught him watching me across the table as Vanessa unboxed her third set of Bride Vibes only napkins. She was telling a story about how she accidentally got recognized by a local wedding blogger at the florist. Talia was eating it up. This wedding is going to make people cry online. Lexi nodded, scrolling through her phone. I'm uploading the dress reveal teaser tonight. It's giving rom-com main character energy. Miles leaned toward me, just enough to be heard. So, he murmured, what's it like starring in someone else's movie? I turned, surprised. What? He gave me a look. Calm, measured, sharp. They edited you out of the pre-roll footage. I saw the clip on TikTok. They zoomed past you so fast I thought you were a waiter. I blinked. You saw that? Yeah, he said, taking a sip of orange juice. My girlfriend follows the tag. Said she was excited to see a female forward ceremony. I didn't realize that meant bride and friends only. He let that hang in the air a second too long. They stared down at my coffee, the bitter smell rising like a warning flare. She's excited for the stream, he added casually. You too? I met his eyes. I'm preparing for it. His lips curved. Good. He didn't press, didn't ask questions, just nodded like a man who understood more than he should, and returned to his bagel. Later, I slipped out the back of the restaurant and pulled up the stream dashboard the videographer had sent. The back end was simple. One login, a queue of scheduled footage. Talia had uploaded the pre-ceremony countdown. Lexi had added a dance montage labeled Pre-Cut Vanessa Only. There was a note in the admin log. Grant appearance to be limited to wide shots only unless otherwise approved. My name was a liability. But they'd forgotten something crucial. The groom still had access. And I had something better than a filter. I had receipts. Chapter 4. The timeline. The stream schedule was precise. Each segment was timestamped down to the second. Talia's doing, obviously. There were blocks labeled Golden Hour Content, Bride Entry B-roll, and Reception Key Moments. I scrolled through them slowly, feeling less like a groom and more like a ghost in someone else's broadcast. At the bottom of the queue was a segment titled Surprise Tribute, Do Not Preview. I clicked anyway. Password protected. I didn't have to guess. It was the one they swapped my speech for. A curated reel of Vanessa's friends narrating how much she meant to them. Pre-recorded, polished, drenched in filters and matching fonts, Lexi called it a soul saver. Talia said it would blow up if the tears hit right. What bothered me wasn't just that I'd been replaced. It was that none of them thought I'd notice. The next morning, I combed through the videographer's shared folder. Buried in the raw uploads were rehearsal clips, group chat screenshots the crew used for captions, even uncut footage of the bridesmaids practicing their entrance. In one of the clips, you could hear Lexi off camera. If this goes viral, Vanessa's gonna get so many sponsorships. Like, the dress alone could be a real series. Another voice, probably Harper, replied, "Honestly, Grant should just be grateful he's even in the shot. He's not really the demographic." I sat there for a long time, just processing. This wasn't a wedding, it was a production shoot with a romantic subplot. So I did what they didn't expect. I mapped their entire timeline, not to follow it, to overwrite it. I created new labels, real vows, unfiltered moments, the cut footage, and voice notes they forgot to delete. I matched their timestamps exactly. Because when the stream flipped, I wanted it to feel seamless, familiar, almost professional. Right until it wasn't. Right until the truth started bleeding through. And all their edits, their main character angles, would be exposed for what they were. Fabrication, performance, viral bait. They wanted a moment the world would remember? Fine, I'd make sure they got one. Chapter 5, The Backup. The tech crew didn't even blink when I asked for the backup drive. It was after the final venue walkthrough. Vanessa had gone off with her bridesmaids to rehearse a TikTok transition they'd choreographed for the reception. I stayed behind, chatting with the lead videographer, Marcus, a sharp, soft-spoken guy with a sleeve of minimalist camera tattoos and a calm that made him seem older than he was. "You're Grant, right?" he said, flipping open a gear case. "Yeah, groom, not featured performer," I deadpanned. He laughed. "I've been doing weddings for 8 years. Trust me, I can tell when the energy's off." I hesitated, then leaned in. "Can I ask you something off the record?" He nodded. "Sure. That stream dashboard you sent, is it syncing off your server or the platform?" "Platform," he said. "We just queue what they upload. Livestream pulls directly from the cloud, but we keep backups of everything, just in case." "In case of what?" He gave me a knowing look. "In case the curated version doesn't tell the full story." I didn't flinch. "Could I get a copy?" Marcus studied me for a second, not suspicious, just thoughtful. Then he reached into his bag, pulled out a fresh USB-C, and plugged it into his laptop. 2 terabytes. Raw footage. No filters. No edits. He handed it over like it was nothing. But it wasn't nothing. It was everything. Every uncropped moment. Every overheard insult. Every slip-up. Every smirk. Every time I was told to stand farther away, or speak less, or adjust my posture so I didn't block Vanessa's dress detail. I spent that night combing through it. At 2:17 a.m., I found the clip I didn't know I needed. Vanessa, sitting with Talia, phone in hand. She was watching a playback of my original toast from our engagement dinner. "God, he's so sincere," she said, half laughing. "Like it's sweet, but also, can we punch it up? Maybe auto-tune it?" They both cracked up. Talia chimed in. "We'll use one line in the montage, just enough to keep him in the narrative." Just enough, that was the line. That's what I'd been reduced to. But I wasn't cutting anything. I was preparing to hit play. Chapter 6, The Moment. The livestream countdown began at 2:58 p.m. Out in the garden, sunlight filtered through the canopy strung with glass orbs and twinkle lights. It should have felt magical. It didn't. Talia stood at the end of the aisle, phone in one hand, clipboard in the other, barking instructions like a wedding planner crossed with a showrunner. She wasn't even pretending to be subtle anymore. Lexi was nearby, tightening the strap on a gimbal. The kind of camera stabilizer people use to film travel documentaries. She'd used the word coverage earlier, as if this was a red carpet event, and not someone's vows. Harper did a last-minute sound check on the livestream mic. "Try not to cry too hard," she whispered to Vanessa, grinning. "It blurs the autofocus." Vanessa laughed. Not a nervous laugh, not even a particularly joyful one. Just the kind of laugh you give when you're in on the joke. I was standing behind the curtain with the groomsmen. No one said much. A few of them shifted awkwardly, trying not to sweat through their jackets. The screen near the AV booth showed the livestream pre-roll. Little hearts floated up the side as viewers joined. Hundreds, then thousands. A banner flickered across the bottom. "Bride's big day, live. Going live in 60 seconds. I could feel my pulse in my jaw. The vows I'd written, the ones they cut, were folded neatly in my jacket pocket. I ran a thumb over the crease. And then the music started. Vanessa stepped into view, glowing under the filtered sun. The crowd rose. Phones lifted. The collective inhale of 1,000 curated moments beginning. But this one wasn't going to go how they planned. At the streaming station, the tech Marcus had hired gave me a discreet nod. I stepped behind the booth, hand hovering over the switch. The live stream had already queued up the tribute montage. Talia had uploaded it with the file name Vanessa Viral Main Cut Final MP4. I could have laughed. Instead, I toggled to Input 2, the uncut version, the one they thought no one would see. Talia tapped her phone. Lexi gave a thumbs up. The counter hit 0. The feed went live, and everything changed. The first frame wasn't golden hour perfection. It was a close-up of Talia, days earlier, saying, "Let's be honest, we're the story. He's just decor." Then a shot of Vanessa watching my toast and miming a yawn. Then Harper, coaching Vanessa on how to pause long enough after I do, so the editor can add sparkle text. I stepped back from the booth, let it play. Out in the crowd, there were no gasps, not yet, but people were shifting, frowning. On the screen, the tribute reel glitched once, and then, without warning, cut to the raw audio of Vanessa's voice note. "You guys are ridiculous." The voice that wasn't a protest. The one that sealed it all. From the altar, Vanessa turned slightly toward the camera, confused by the wrong angle, and saw her own face staring back at her, mid-laugh, mid-betrayal. And that's when it happened. The ripple, guests turning, viewers commenting, a low murmur rising. No filters, no edits, no escape. They wanted a moment the world would remember. They were about to get one. Chapter 7, The Fallout. It took less than a minute for the live stream to explode. At first, people thought it was a mistake. Someone in the front row whispered, "Is this part of it?" A groomsman 2 seats over glanced at me, eyebrows raised. I didn't answer. I just watched. Vanessa stood frozen at the top of the aisle, bouquet trembling slightly in her hands. Talia moved first, rushed to the camera operator, and hissed something sharp, frantic. He shook his head. Feeds locked. Groom credentials. Not mine.
Lexi ran to her laptop, yanking the HDMI cable like she was defusing a bomb. But it was too late. The backup system had already synced. Every second was broadcasting live to YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and some wedding content app I didn't even know existed. The comments started piling up on the side of the screen. "He's just decor? Whoa. This is savage. I need part 2. Vanessa's face art is killing me. Why do I feel like the groom is the only one with a soul?" I stayed near the back of the tent, behind the curtain, watching everything unfold like a spectator at my own unraveling. And then it happened. Vanessa stepped forward, dress rustling against the aisle runner, voice low and tight. "Grant, what did you do?" I met her eyes across the space between us, calm, unapologetic. "You wanted a live stream," I said. "This is the real one." For a second, she didn't respond. Her mouth opened, then closed. Behind her, Lexi was whisper yelling into her phone. Harper had vanished completely. Talia looked like she might combust. "You blindsided me," Vanessa said finally. But the outrage didn't land, not after what they'd seen. Not after her voice had echoed across the stream, saying I was too much of a LinkedIn husband. A guest in the third row stood up, slowly. Then another. I heard someone say, "Let's give them a moment." But the damage was done. People weren't leaving to give space. They were leaving because they'd seen what was behind the curtain, and they wanted no part of it. I walked toward the side exit, passing the camera on my way out. I didn't stop, didn't wave, just let the silence speak for me. Behind me, the sound of frantic whispers filled the air. But outside, it was quiet. And for the first time in weeks, I could breathe. Chapter 8, The DMs. The first message hit my inbox before I'd even made it to the parking lot. "Lexi, what the hell, Grant? You ruined everything." Vanessa is sobbing. I didn't answer. By the time I got to my car, I had 11 new messages. Talia's came next. "Talia, you think this makes you look good? All you did was prove why we didn't include you." That one almost made me laugh. Didn't include me? They cut me from my own wedding and still expected gratitude. I scrolled past a few more. One from Harper, too vague to matter. One from an unknown number that just said low blow. And one from Marcus, the videographer. Marcus,
Stream hit 87K live viewers before it got pulled. Been doing this 8 years. Never seen anything like it. Let me know if you want the final numbers. That one, I starred. When I got home, to my place, not the one Vanessa and I were supposed to share, I turned off my phone for a while. Just let the silence hang there. It felt earned. Around 10 p.m., I turned it back on. The internet was already devouring itself. A wedding blog had screen recorded the stream before it got pulled. The post read, "Groom hijacks wedding stream with brutal footage, and we can't look away." The clip was stitched a dozen times across TikTok. People were reacting in real time, crying, clapping, laughing with disbelief. He said, "Not today, Satan." Plot twist of the year. You can hear the exact moment she realizes she's the villain. I want to marry him. This is why men should have bridesmaids too. Someone to warn them. I didn't ask for any of it, but I didn't mind either. Around midnight my phone buzzed again. "Vanessa, please just talk to me." No emojis, no hashtags, just those 5 words. I stared at the message for a long time, and then I did something none of them expected. I didn't reply, because the stream may have gone offline. But the story was just beginning. Chapter 9, the group chat. They didn't know I was still in it. The group chat had been created months ago, a giant planning thread titled V+G the wedding drop, pressed back when things were still cooperative. Back when I was still being copied on vendor lists and budget spreadsheets and floral samples Vanessa never actually wanted my opinion on. By the time things shifted, no one bothered to remove me. I was just there. A silent name in the header, easy to forget once the thread became more about influencer strategy than marriage. So I watched. From the moment the footage went live, their panic was broadcast in real time. Talia, what the actual hell? Who gave him access? Lexi, he must have swapped the feed. Did the tech guy know? Vanessa, stop, we can fix this. Harper, the clip's already on TikTok. It's on that wedding drama account. 400K views and climbing. Talia, Lexi, take it down, flag it, report the audio or something. Lexi, it's not our upload. People screen recorded it. Harper, too late, the subreddit's on it too. Someone made a timeline thread. And then, silence. For a solid hour, not one of them said a word. I scrolled back through the thread. Months of filtered dress fittings and passive-aggressive emoji chains. Voice notes planning a just-for-fun fake-out during the garter toss. Lexi outlining a content series titled Blushing Bride to Boss Mabe. None of it had anything to do with me. I wasn't a partner. I was a prop. But now I was the whole story. Eventually, one more message popped in. Vanessa. This was supposed to be my moment. And it was. Just not the one she thought she'd have. I finally exited the chat. Because the narrative had shifted. They couldn't crop me out anymore. And I didn't need a seat at their table.
I'd already pulled the tablecloth and left them clinging to their centerpiece. Chapter 10, the call-out. It wasn't just the video that went viral. It was me. By Monday morning, the algorithm had spun the wedding into content gold. Edits of the stream were everywhere, recut with dramatic music, courtroom memes, even a version with that TikTok voice that narrates like a true crime doc. He was the groom, she was the brand. What happened next had 3.2 million views. But that wasn't the call-out. That came on Wednesday. A video titled, Why Vanessa's Wedding Implosion is the Best Thing to Happen to the Internet, dropped from a mid-tier creator with a loyal audience. She didn't mock Vanessa. She didn't even name names. She just broke it all down. We've watched brides become brands, and we've watched grooms get turned into set pieces. But this was the first time someone flipped the script on camera. I didn't know her, but I liked her. By Friday, the clip had made its way to the Bridefluencer Weekly subreddit. That's when the dam burst. Anonymous insiders showed up in the comments. I worked with Vanessa on a skincare collab. She stiffed a junior editor and claimed she never saw the invoice. I'm a planner. Talia ghosted on paying her vendor retainer, twice. Vanessa's previous engagement ended after a similar group of friends convinced her to turn the proposal into a branded deal. The internet didn't just cancel them, it unmasked them. And Vanessa, she posted a Notes app apology, said she was deeply hurt by the unauthorized content leak and asked for privacy during this difficult time. She might have gotten it if she hadn't included a link to her new podcast at the bottom. Comments lit up like fireworks. Was the betrayal in HD or 4K? Girl, not the promo.
Grant, if you're reading this, we love you. Blink twice if you need a publicist. I didn't respond. Didn't need to. The call-out had done the work for me. And the people who'd once tried to erase me from the narrative, now they couldn't stop watching it unfold. Chapter 11, The Return. I hadn't planned on going back. Not to the venue, not to the scene of the implosion. But 3 weeks after the wedding that wasn't, I got a text from Marcus, the videographer. Marcus, thought you might want this. It was a private link. Password protected. The subject line just read, Final Cut. I almost didn't click it, but curiosity is a persistent thing. The video opened with ambient music and soft aerial drone shots of the venue, just like every other wedding highlight reel. But instead of cutting to Vanessa walking down the aisle, it cut to silence, then static, then footage from the actual stream. No overdubs, no transitions, just truth. I watched the whole thing, once, and then I closed the tab. I didn't save it. I didn't share it. I didn't need to. It had already done what it was meant to do. The following Monday, I walked into the same coffee shop where Vanessa and I had once met the florist, the same one she later berated in a group chat for suggesting basic hydrangeas. The barista looked up, eyes widened. You're him, right? I didn't answer right away, just smiled. She passed me my drink without asking for a name. You did what every guy wishes he could do, she said. You walked away, and let them choke on the silence. I nodded. Wasn't about revenge, she grinned. No, but it was about dignity. I walked out feeling lighter. By then, Vanessa's following had tanked. Her sponsors dropped her after the podcast promo flopped. Talia had locked her account. Lexi started selling presets on Etsy. Harper pivoted to baby content and quietly unfollowed all of them.
I didn't need headlines or interviews or follow-ups. I just went back to living. Quietly, steadily. And sometimes, that's the real surprise. Not the drama, not the exposure, just the fact that I made it out clean. While they were still busy scrubbing glitter from the wreckage. Chapter 12, The Reckoning. She showed up at my place 3 weeks after the wedding. No warning, no text. Just her car pulling up to the curb like nothing had happened. Like we were still two people planning centerpieces instead of survivors of mutual detonation. I didn't open the door right away. I watched her through the peephole. Vanessa was dressed down, but not casually. A calculated kind of undone. Bare face, soft sweater. That look people curate to seem real when they want sympathy. I opened the door, but didn't invite her in. She didn't ask. I just want to talk, she said. I nodded once, and stepped onto the porch. Letting the door click shut behind me. For a moment she didn't say anything. Just looked at me like she was searching for the old version. The agreeable one. The accessory. I don't understand how you could do that, she said finally. Why you'd choose to humiliate me in front of everyone. I didn't humiliate you, I said calmly. You did that. I just stopped protecting the image. She flinched. You blindsided me. I almost laughed, like when you replaced my toast with a montage that cut me out of my own engagement. That wasn't... She stopped, swallowed. That wasn't meant to be cruel. It was marketing, the planner said. You weren't planning a marriage, Vanessa. You were producing a brand activation. Her jaw tightened. You think this was easy for me? Managing the guest list, coordinating with vendors, filming content on top of a full-time job. On top of ignoring me, I said. You don't even hear yourself. She crossed her arms. You made me look like a joke. I stepped in closer. No, I said quietly. You made me a joke. You and your friends mocked me, minimized me, rehearsed how you'd make me disappear in the edit. And you didn't think twice, because I was never the main character to you. Vanessa's eyes welled, but I didn't flinch. Do you even know what love looks like when it's not curated? I asked. Because I do, and this wasn't it. Tears spilled down her cheeks now. Not the performative kind, not completely. But I couldn't trust them either. I never wanted to hurt you, she whispered. You just didn't care if you did. A silence passed between us. Weighty, final. She stepped back, arms limp now. So that's it? I gave a small shrug. It was never supposed to be about revenge. But it was supposed to be honest. And with that, I turned and walked back inside. This time she didn't follow. And this time, I didn't feel guilty. Because sometimes closure doesn't come in apology form. Sometimes it arrives when you stop translating your worth into someone else's caption. Epilogue, one more upload. It was a Sunday morning. Quiet. No trending hashtags.
no alerts buzzing in my pocket. I was finishing a coffee on my porch when I got the notification. You've been tagged in a video. The username didn't ring a bell at first. Maya Unfiltered. But when I tapped the link, I remembered her. Vanessa's old college roommate. The one who wasn't invited to the wedding because, as Talia once put it, Maya doesn't match the aesthetic. She hadn't posted about the wedding at all. Not during, not after. Until now. The video was short. A single take. No edits. No filters. Just Maya, sitting in a sweatshirt, face bare and steady. This is for the girls who weaponize friendship for clout.
Who treat people like props in the movie of their own life. And especially for the ones who think kindness is a liability. Grant never asked me to say anything. He doesn't even follow me. But I saw how they treated him. And I saw what they lost. You don't get to throw someone out of the narrative and then cry when they stop playing along. She paused, looked straight into the camera. You voted him out of the story. He wrote the ending without you. The video ended there. It didn't go viral. Not exactly, but it reached the right inboxes. A few hours later, I got another message. From Vanessa. Vanessa, tell Maya to take it down. This is cruel. I didn't reply. Not to her, not to any of them. But I did send Maya a thumbs up emoji. And then for the first time in a while, I opened my laptop. Started drafting something new. Not a revenge plan. Not a stream key. Just a story. One where I wasn't erased, or minimized, or captioned by someone else. Just me, telling the truth, without apology. Because sometimes the final upload isn't a takedown. It's a beginning.
Fake friends are easy to spot after the damage is done. If you've ever cut off a toxic friendship, you already know how these stories feel. Like, comment, and subscribe for more betrayal, revenge, and endings that hit where it hurts. This is Savage Endings, and sometimes, losing friends is just the beginning.